Como é que é, malta da pedada? Estamos de volta para mais um caso de Noire. E é mais um homicídio. Desta vez é o The Studio Secretary Murder. Vamos lá.
Of course we will look into it. Yes, I'm aware that it's an election year. Keep a hold of your hat, Councillor. Now is not the time to lose your nerve. It would appear that someone has hocked a rose gold wedding ring and matching engagement ring. Sound familiar?
Deirdre Muller.
Press the pawnbroker and see what you can find out. The address is 348 South Main Street. The Muller case goes before the grand jury next week, and the DA does not want any egg on his face. Then get out to the railroad depot on Santa Fe Avenue. We have another poor unfortunate found this morning beside a railroad line. 40-year-old white woman.
Right, Skipper.
Bem, antes de falar do novo assassinato, aqui estávamos a falar aqui com o capitão e eles estão willing de investigar mais sobre os assassinatos anteriores porque eles querem confirmar a 100% que realmente os assassinos certos é que foram acusados, né? Por isso quer dizer que aqui
Another body and Deirdre Muller's ring. The Emperor may soon have to come to terms with the fact that he's wearing no clothes.
When exactly did you get that book of riddles shoved up your ass, Phelps? Is that what your old man paid college tuition for?
Yeah, I'm thinking of moving up to a 45. I want to put him down one round.
como eu estava a dizer, agora até os superiores aqui do Phelps estão a acreditar nele também. E por isso é que antes de irmos para a cena do crime, vamos investigar esta pista que nos foi revelada em que 2 anéis foram pawned, foram vendidos e são semelhantes ao do segundo assassinato da senhora Deirdre Muller.
You've got to admit, this is looking odd.
Anyone could pawn a ring.
But if you take it along with all of the other indicators...
Cole, Hugo Moeller was identified by the school's groundkeeper. He's our guy.
Witnesses have fingered the wrong guy before.
He ran, for God's sakes.
And he always maintained he was set up.
Ali na conversa anterior, por acaso aquela missão da Muller, e está aqui a fazer barulho. O segundo caso da Deirdre Muller costuma ter um bug no fim e foi isso que aconteceu agora. Normalmente o jogo assume sempre que nós escolhemos acusar o marido em vez do pedófilo, não sei porquê, mas foi isso que aconteceu ali. Nesta conversa eles disseram que o marido é que ficou preso. Mas não tem qualquer significância, é só um erro linguístico.
Detectives Phelps and Galloway, LAPD. You have a rose gold wedding and engagement ring?
David Bremner. Am I gonna get something for this pledge? I gave that bum money, now you guys are gonna leave me short.
How much did you give him?
$50?
Try another number.
20?
Try 10. Feel lucky you're getting it.
I have the rings right here.
Parece que foi um vagabundo que veio aqui vender a este senhor. E nós agora vamos ver se realmente faz algum sentido.
What's this mark here?
Maker's mark. Usually traceable. That one came from Hartfield's Jewelry down on Broadway.
Thanks for the tip. Does this mark mean anything?
Hallmark. Gives you an idea of the quality.
What have you got on the guy who brought these in?
Goes by the name of Percy B. Shelley. Gave an address. 15 Poland Street, London, Tulare County.
Can you give us a description of the man who pawned these rings?
Not sure. Medium height, medium build, dark hair, I think. Sorry. He just had one of those forgettable faces.
We'll be in touch, Mr. Bremner.
Bem, não temos aqui grande coisa que confirme nada, como puderam ver. Por isso, se calhar vamos passar ao próximo
You can drive.
caso.
Fine. Where are we headed?
We have a problem.
We could have the local troopers check out the Tulare County address.
The address is bogus. Herb is having fun with us. The guy who's been sending the Dahlia letters is also the guy who pawned these rings.
How do you figure that one?
Percy Bysshe Shelley wrote the poem that came with the Dahlia letter. If the Dahlia letters are genuine, then the man who killed Elizabeth Short may have also killed Deirdre Muller.
And how do we prove that, Phelps? Skipper ain't gonna like this one bit.
We're gonna have to rely on this guy tripping up on his own vanity.
Parece que o Phelps conseguiu fazer algum tipo de associação ali com o endereço, com as referências que o dono daquela shop deu. Parece que o Cole conseguiu associar então ao Dahlia. Afinal, eu é que não sou o detetive suficiente.
ready? Follow me.
We should keep this development with the rings under our hat until we speak with the captain.
We're all on the same team, Rusty.
Chain of command, Phelps. The skipper will decide who needs to know. Got it?
I get it, Rusty. I just don't like it. Hard, isn't it?
Yeah. I look after all the rail depots.
What have you got?
The Negro, Nelson Gaines, called it in. I came down here to make sure him and the other guy, Jameson, stuck around.
Jameson found the body?
Something like that. Guy makes me sick.
We'll talk to the coroner. Keep an eye on both of them.
I got this gadget whiz guy putting recording devices into place for me.
Antes de procurarmos pelas clues, vamos falar aqui com a primeira testemunha. Este foi o primeiro a chegar, temos duas. E uma parece mais viável que a outra. E é aqui este senhor. Vamos falar primeiro com
Phelps
ele.
and Galloway, homicide. Can you tell me exactly what happened?
We were shutting cars over to the main line when I saw this man here lying on top of this woman. The woman wasn't moving and seemed to be in a bad way.
What time was this?
About 7:30 this morning, sir.
Thanks for your help. Have you given Patrolman Hart your details?
I have, sir.
Thank you. You can go now.
Então parece que este senhor encontrou aquele outro senhor em cima do corpo. Agora sim, vamos procurar as clues. Mas sempre que fazemos isto, falamos primeiro aqui com o médico.
What have we got here?
White female, approximately 40 years of age, lipstick smudges on the face, but no writing, at least nothing legible. A blunt force trauma to the temple, nose, and eye regions. Ligature marks point to the probable cause of death being strangulation.
Any idea of the time of death?
From her temperature, after midnight would be my guess.
E é extremamente semelhante aos outros crimes. Mais uma vez. Parece que estes crimes todos do homicídio é como se fossem todos o mesmo, não é? Embora seja completamente diferente.
Smell?
Very good. There is the usual evacuation smell, but it appears she's been living rough for quite some time.
Very strong smell of alcohol.
Well, the autopsy will tell, but I would assume that she was inebriated.
Sim, ela parecia bêbada, sim. E o Phelps também referiu que ela cheirava mal. Agora não sei se estavam a referir-se ao facto de ela já aqui estar há muito tempo ou não.
Another missing ring.
Certainly seems I've been swabbing a lot of bare fingers recently.
Can you be more exact about the time of death?
No later than 2 a.m. The state the body was in, a 1 or 2 hour window is the best I can do.
Parece que ainda tem outra semelhança, que é ali o anel roubado. Mais uma vez. Depois da morte. Porque nunca há sinal de retaliação nas mãos da vítima. E temos aqui mais algumas pistas. A carteira da senhora, por exemplo. Então Phelps. Se calhar este é mais...
This is a chit for personal items, not booze. It's an angle worth investigating.
Isto tinha ali o nome da senhora, se calhar. Ok, eu estava a tentar pegar noutra coisa. Isto aqui é um possível bar onde ela esteve ontem à noite.
Maybe someone at Mensch's will remember her.
Exatamente. E vamos então agora à carteira.
I got this gadget whiz guy putting recording devices in the place for
Someone was trying to get her to come home.
Parece que ela estava... que ela deixou a casa onde vivia e alguém estava a pedir que ela voltasse.
We could go over to the lot and see what they know about her.
That's going to be difficult, Cole. Keystone Studio lot closed back in 41.
Parece que ela queria ser uma atriz. Mas o Brasil disse que aquilo já fechou há algum tempo. Por isso não sei do que se trata. Ok, já temos as pistas todas. Não sei se podemos olhar para este sangue e podemos. Mas é irrelevante. Não é vital.
Blood splatter on the carriage. She must have been struck while standing up.
Exatamente, Cole. E agora é que vamos interrogar aqui a outra testemunha, que parece ser mais um suspeito, na minha opinião, pelo que a outra testemunha disse.
Detective Phelps, LAPD homicide.
John Ferdinand Jameson.
We need you to answer some questions, John.
If you don't mind, I prefer Ferdinand.
Don't push your luck, knucklehead.
What were you doing to the body, Ferdinand?
Are you sure you won't be upset?
Try me, Ferdinand.
I was kissing her. It's not against the law.
Shut up.
There's no
Take
law
your
against
beating
it.
like a man.
Turn out your pockets, Ferdinand. Classic Carmine.
Se lembram no primeiro caso, foi um destes batons que foi usado para pintar
Is this yours?
no corpo.
No. I found it near her purse. I thought she could use some lipstick.
Rusty, stop! Don't hit him.
Bem, vamos acusá-lo de interferir com provas.
You went through her purse?
It wasn't like she needed it. I took a look.
E isto é verdade.
Did you take any money?
Wasn't any to take. I found her lipstick and her matchbook over on the mat. Not much else.
You found the body?
Yes, I did. I work here. I was coming off shift and headed home.
E mais?
Why didn't you report the body, Jameson? Do you know how this is going to look to a jury?
A jury? What gives? I could tell that she was dead. I came through here about midnight last night. She wasn't here then.
Let me belt him again.
You're under arrest, Jameson. We'll see how this plays out. Until then, you can think a little on how you'd like to be treated if you were found dead.
I'm telling you, it's not illegal. Me and some friends of mine...
Clyde, you get this sack of shit into a cell. I'll deal with him later.
Sure, Rusty.
Wouldn't park there if I were you.
Se também não queria ouvir o que é que ele ia dizer. Bem, vamos agora ao telefone para se podemos utilizá-lo. E depois vamos ao bar. Provavelmente vamos pedir aqui o endereço desse bar.
Phelps, 1247.
How could I help, Detective?
I need an address on Levine's Liquor, closest store to the Santa Fe Avenue rail yard if possible.
Just a moment, Detective. Closest store would be the one at 939 South Hope Street.
Thanks, ma'am.
Fomos perguntar por uma liquor store. Ok, mas uma das coisas importantes que o Jameson disse foi que à meia-noite passou aqui
And where exactly are we going?
e ela ainda não estava ali. Por isso o Carretas, o médico, disse que ela podia ter morrido por volta da meia-noite e as 2, por isso se calhar foi mais entre a 1 e as 2. Bem, vamos agora então à liquor store a ver se a senhora passou por lá.
Read that those goddamn Chinese want to sell the relief food that we're sending them?
Yeah, I read about that.
Those people are starving. They can't do that.
Want to sell the food to fund the civil war against the communists.
Really? Guess that's okay then.
Armies can't fight without food. You spend all your money on weapons, but you still have to have the will to fight. Fortunately, the Reds will win in China.
Watch your mouth. You know what you're saying?
The people of this country overthrew a king. You think the Chinese will balk at an emperor if they are starving?
What can I do for you?
LAPD, Phelps and Galloway. We're making inquiries into the murder of Evelyn Summers.
Evelyn? She's dead?
You knew Evelyn Summers, Mr.
Robbins. Yes, I knew Evelyn. I was a good friend of her ex-husband. She kept some of her stuff here.
Can you show us, please?
Sure. Come this way.
Se calhar estava naquela carta que ela vivia aqui. Até gostava de... Vivia aqui, não? Quer dizer, já... Eu antecipei-me um bocadinho, peço desculpa.
He's joking, Mr. Robbins.
Está aqui um quartito. Deixem-me só ir então às clubes de confirmar isso. Já agora. Não me diz aqui. Bem, vamos ver se tem as clues que aqui tem.
When exactly did Evelyn work in the pictures?
A few years ago. She worked in legal copyrights for music.
Parece que ela foi mesmo atriz então.
I'm guessing Evelyn hadn't held down a job for quite some time before she was killed.
Mas ela realmente não parecia estar em boas condições financeiras para estar aqui.
Rawlings Bowling Alley. Maybe Evelyn did something other than drink in her spare time.
Rawlings. I know that place. Corner of 9th and Grand. A lot of cops bowl there on Tuesday nights.
Parece que temos outro local que a vítima costuma frequentar. A ver se alguém sabe alguma coisa lá. E parece que a última coisa que aqui está é estas duas coisas aqui ao lado da cama.
Evelyn was reading Aristotle?
Evelyn wasn't stupid. The only stupid thing about her was her need to drink.
And she was borrowing books from Grosvenor McCaffrey.
E temos mais uma pessoa de interesse para investigar.
She wasn't always such a loner.
temos aqui mais duas suspeitas novas. Este senhor aqui, que parece ser um possível amante, talvez, e aquele, o dono do livro, pode ser um amigo ou um conhecido. Grosvenor, é um nome esquisito. Isto aqui é um sítio bastante aberto, mas acho que não tem aqui nada, embora esteja aqui uma luz, não vejo aqui nenhuma maçaneta dourada. Ah, sim, e agora temos de interrogar o senhor depois de já termos visto aquilo. Então, o que é que conheces da vítima? Aliás, isso é a próxima pergunta. Tiveste com ela ontem?
We're trying to account for Evelyn's movements yesterday.
She came by in the morning.
A social visit to pick up some of her things?
She had a couple of bucks and bought a quart of rye.
E depois já não temos necessidade de duvidar do senhor.
Any idea where the money came from?
She didn't mention it, but she did say the booze was a present for a boy. She said they had been fighting and she had to make it up to him.
Se calhar é aquele do livro. E então qual era a sua relação com a vítima?
Were you and Evelyn close, Mr. Robbins?
How many people will be sad she's gone? I'll be one of the few.
E vamos continuar a ser simpáticos.
We got the impression that Evelyn had been sleeping rough of late.
It became difficult for me to have her staying here. Her mother was trying to get her back on the straight and narrow. She's old now. And to be honest, you have to have a good reason to want to get back on.
E sobre o gajo do livro?
Do you know a friend of Evelyn's by the name of McCaffrey?
Not personally.
E agora assim é que vamos ter de pressionar porque ele tem de dizer mais que isso, né?
We're struggling for leads, Robbins. Did she know McCaffrey?
She idolized him. From what I gather, the feeling was far from mutual. He seems to peddle a revolutionary stance, fixing the ills of society. You could see how it would appeal to down-and-outs like Evelyn.
Thanks for your help, Mr. Robbins.
No problem. Hey, I'd like to make arrangements for the funeral. You think I could get in touch with Evelyn's mother?
Put in a call to the watch commander at Central Station, Mr. Robbins. He'll be trying to reach the next of kin.
Thanks. Get the guy, huh? Evelyn never hurt anybody.
Ok, podemos continuar. Parece que o senhor que lhe emprestou o livro é um daqueles tipo de pessoas que é tipo revolucionário. Se calhar tem uma personalidade forte. Mas não parecia gostar da vítima de
You know the
volta.
way. You can drive.
Fine. Where are we headed?
Agora vamos ao bar a ver se conseguimos já mais alguma pista. Eu acho que até devíamos usar um telefone para localizar este McCaffrey, mas não parece ser uma opção para já.
Drink, fellas.
Phelps, Galloway, homicide. We need to ask you some questions concerning Evelyn Summers.
I'm Walter Mensch. Evelyn Summers, what is it now?
You knew Evelyn?
As well as I wanted to know Evelyn. She's a pain in the ass, always coming in here, cadging drinks, never had any money. She was in just a couple of nights ago.
Did she ever tell you where she was staying?
I don't know. I think she was living rough. She had that kind of stunk about her.
Who did she drink with?
A bunch of these guys. Ask around.
Ok, agora confirmo que quando a encontramos e o Phelps falou num cheiro peculiar, estava-se a referir que ela se calhar é vagabunda. Mesmo, é sem abrigo. Vá. E agora temos de falar aqui com estas pessoas.
Grosvenor McCaffrey.
Olha ele.
Mind if I ask you some questions, Mr. McCaffrey?
I'm just a starving writer, detective. What do you want to ask about?
Evelyn Summers, and why she was found beaten and strangled in the rail depot on Santa Fe.
Okay. I see your point.
How well did you know her?
I can't say that I knew her. It was more like I was aware of her.
Yeah, este é um daqueles tipos importantes. Vamos perguntar se ele tem algum histórico criminoso.
Do you have a criminal record, Mr. McCaffrey?
Nothing serious. I've had a few skirmishes.
Que tipo de skirmishes?
Do you want to save me some time, or do you want me to look up your file?
Industrial disputes, strikes, workers' rights, that kind of thing.
A regular fifth columnist. Nice to meet you, comrade.
Então, sabias quem era a vítima, mas não
You say
sabes.
you barely knew Evelyn?
Yes, that is correct.
Pois, mas a gente sabe que se calhar é mais que isso porque nós temos o livro dele.
You look down your nose at Evelyn, but you knew her, and you have some idea of what happened.
I hope you're holding aces. I'm telling you again, I barely knew the woman.
The book está assinado com o nome dele.
Why would you lend her your book on metaphysics if you only knew her in passing? It was more than that. A Renaissance man like yourself, lending his books to his acolytes.
She hounded me about that goddamn book, and then she lifts it from my apartment and lies to my face that she didn't take it, as if she could even comprehend any of it. I saw her go into a hotel with Tiernan last night. They had booze in a paper bag. He's your man.
Thank you for the information, Mr. McCaffrey.
E parece que temos aqui outro suspeito. Parece que este está um bocado ciumento.
You a friend of Evelyn Summers?
Who's asking?
Very cute. You know who's asking.
I know my rights.
You don't have any. Answer the question.
Evelyn mooches for drinks. I don't have any time for that.
Was that so hard?
Keep writing me, copper.
Bem, não sei se isto foi completamente necessário. Bem, só falta irmos a um sítio.
You're behind the wheel.
And where exactly are we going?
Oh, bowling alley. Let's go.
Car 11K, car 11K, come in.
Temos uma mensagem?
Car 11K, car 11 King, KGPL.
11 King.
A message from Captain Donnelly, return to Central, code 2.
11 King, en route. Let's not keep the man waiting, Phelps.
Mas já cometi um erro. Tinha de ser eu a conduzir, senão o Rusty vem logo direitinho aqui. E temos de ir lá ali ao bowling agora, senão não vamos poder voltar. O Rusty parece que não vem, se calhar. Espero não ter bugado o jogo. Ok, não ficou bugado, o Rusty veio connosco.
Hello, Rusty. Two on your usual lane?
I'm Detective Phelps. Homicide.
You must be new. What's your shoe size?
We're conducting an investigation, ma'am. Do you know the name Evelyn Summers?
Sounds like I should. Oh, maybe it could be Jimmy's friend.
Jimmy?
James Tiernan. He's a pin setter. One day he introduced me to a lady after work. It stuck in my mind because she was much older, too old for him.
Where can we find Jimmy, Florence?
He'll be hopping around the lanes toward the back.
Thanks, ma'am.
Olha, parece que aquele...
Let's go get him.
O Tiernan que o McAfee falou está aqui.
Down the left side of the alley.
That case with the lady cut up like the Dahlia. When the hell's the food gonna arrive already?
Tiernan! LAPD!
E mais uma vez temos fugitivo.
There!
E vamos entrar em grande carrão. Rusty. Ok, o Rusty está mesmo bugado. Oh, mas este carro é incrível, é dos mais rápidos. Stop. Fuck. Vou ter de pagar por aquilo. Pois agora vai ser mais difícil porque como o Rusty está bugado. Porque eu, por conduzir, ele agora não vai estar aqui a disparar. Vou ter de ser eu a dar-lhe aqui um quit. Olha, afinal ele deu por mim. Se calhar. Ok, se calhar mais um e tá bom.
Just a scratch.
Olha, vai por aqui para o meio. Uai. Está mesmo pelo atropelar pessoas. Ok. Ele está-se a pôr aqui no comboio. Será que vai contra ele? Vou pô-lo. Não consigo. Oh! Ia-me pôr eu. Isto não são comboios, era um tram. Ele anda um bocadinho mais rápido que eu, não chego. Oh, ele ficou ali. Ainda bem, porque ele ia me dar ganda juke. Vê se ele não foge. Não, ele deu com a cabeça.
Hands behind your head.
And that is the end of that. It's about fucking time.
Ficaste para trás, Rusty. Pô. Por isso é que ele demorou tanto. Bem, agora podemos continuar com este carro, interessantemente. Mas não o vamos fazer, porque isso não é o que devemos fazer.
You know the way. You can drive.
E agora sim vamos para a central polícia.
Where are we headed?
Don't need this?
What are you waiting for? Get after him!
We might go faster if we weren't carrying the extra weight.
E acho que isto agora também estava bugado.
Whoa, looks like we're going into the tunnels.
God damn.
Isto estava tudo bugado porque tinha linhas do Rusty que ele ficou por dizer. Parece que está a dizê-las agora, ao calhas.
I didn't want to arrest the kid, so I gave him a dusting.
Captain is downstairs with Ray Pinker and Carruthers.
Bem, parece que vamos ter de ir falar com o capitão outra vez. Eles estão novamente nesta sala aqui em baixo.
Say we bust in there and find the goddamn evidence.
What's this about, Captain?
Ray and Mal have some concerns over the Henry and Muller cases, which I don't want aired outside of this room.
The evidence is solid, Captain.
I agree, Rusty. It's just that corpses keep piling up.
Copycats.
I've been banging the same drum. But the notes and the lipstick messages.
Evelyn Summers, Cartel Classic Carmine. Each woman, same brand, same color.
Teresa Terrelson didn't have a lipstick message.
Technically, you're right, Rusty. She didn't have any lipstick, but she did have a message. We found it beneath her dress, scraped with a sharp stick.
What did it say?
You sure you want to know?
Ray?
As far as we can be sure, it said cunt BD.
That's one way of looking at it.
Looking at what?
Cunt is all about access, Phelps. You're married, so yours is mortgaged. Some of us like to pay by installments. This guy doesn't like to pay at all.
Why are you so angry, Mal?
Because I just had to fire one of my assistants. He was a friend of Jameson's. God knows what he might have been up to.
Captain, we have good leads in the Summers case, but it's up to you to decide how we proceed.
Keep this under your hat for now. And to follow up on Evelyn Summers, I want daily reports.
Parece que o Carruthers também está bastante
Got our
certo.
orders. Back to the Summers case. Get an address for McCaffrey. He'll have blown the bar. I'll meet you outside.
She wants a 5-star goddamn wedding.
Parece que agora o Carruthers e assim, como eu disse, já estão convencidos como o Phelps que é o mesmo e parece que estamos agora também a convencer o capitão. E mais uma coisa onde o Carruthers disse que teve de despedir um rapaz porque ele era amigo do Jameson, que foi encontrado a dar beijo a um corpo, né?
Operator, give me R&I.
E o Carruthers faz autópsias.
Putting you through now.
Cole Phelps, badge 1247.
How can I help, Detective?
I need an address for a Grosvenor McCaffrey.
Grosvenor McCaffrey. Apartment 6, 126 Yale Street, between Ord and Alpine.
Thank you.
E agora vamos direitinhos ao apartamento do McCaffrey e parece que o Rusty quer que eu conduza.
Let me pose a question.
Depends. What's it got to do with?
Morals. Would it bother you to put the wrong person away?
Depends.
On what?
On whether anyone except the poor son of a bitch in the slammer ever found out.
These are flashy cars to be parked outside a bowling alley.
The lanes attract a fast-living individual with money to burn, Cole.
Or a middle-aged individual with the need to feel virile.
E como eu disse, eles tinham aqui linhas pendentes porque ficou
Another
bugado.
runner. Well, at least we've got a suspect.
Why do they always run? I'm sure we've got the wrong person in more than one of these homicides, but they always seem to lam it.
You know, your theories are not airtight by any means, Phelps.
If this isn't the killer, we can at least get him for reckless endangerment.
That's unless he runs into a wall and saves us all the trouble.
Já estamos. Ele é no apartamento 6, já nos disseram. Deve estar lá em cima. Cinco a 6. Cá está. Parece que não estava ninguém em casa. Vamos então lá investigar aqui esta inteligência. Bem. Temos aqui uma arma possivelmente usada para o crime.
He said he didn't know her. And we have the book.
E parece que isto é da cena do bowling. Oh my god.
You, Grosvenor?
Faltava
Who are
outro.
you guys? What are you doing in here?
We're from the LAPD, ma'am. Do you know where we might find McCaffrey?
I'm his neighbor. Is he in trouble?
Look, lady, we need to find him, and in a hurry. Are you gonna give me trouble?
He has a pigeon coop up on the roof. He spends his mornings up there when he's been drinking.
How do we get up there?
Down the hall and up the stairs.
Não, mas deixem-me investigar mais
Rocket
por
in
isso.
command of a carrier pigeon. Surely we can write him up for that. A citation, at least.
Ok, também tem aqui uma camisola, mas não tem nada a dizer por isso. Mas o que é importante era isto.
Torn from the letter we found beside the body. At the very least, I'd say it ties McCaffrey to the scene.
E estão aqui as pistas todas que indicam para o McAfee. A arma do crime e esta outra metade da carta que encontramos mete-o na cena do crime. E não tem aqui mais nada neste quarto. Nem jornais. Yep. E agora temos de ir ao telhado.
That's the cop from the newspapers.
That's me, bitch. E é por aqui que se sobe.
Grosvenor McCaffrey! Running on a hangover, McCaffrey? Sit
Oh my
down
god.
and
E ele
we'll
vai
talk.
tentar fugir.
I'll go get our wheels.
Desta vez o Rusty parece que nos vai ajudar. Vai ter com o carro. Mas vamos ver se nós o conseguimos apanhar. What the Phelps? É preciso ter cuidado nestes cantos. Muitas vezes eles apanham-nos assim.
Be careful, he looks dangerous.
Does it?
Give it up, LAPD!
Está a ser difícil chegar perto dele. Por acaso até corre bem. Ah, vai ser agora. Está sem energias.
McCaffrey, you're under arrest on suspicion of murdering Evelyn Summers.
We need to get downtown and wrap this thing up. It's got to be McCaffrey. Unless Tiernan set him up. You don't think that asshole Jameson could have done it, do you? Whoever did it. At least it wasn't that Dahlia fuck.
How do you know that McCaffrey didn't do the Dahlia?
We have a list of over 200 suspects. His name was never on it.
If you think the list is exhaustive, Rusty, who am I to argue?
Listen, let's just work the case at hand, shall we? Then we can sit down and put all the puzzle pieces together at a later date.
I'll hold you to that.
KGPL to any unit. A citizen reports suspicious activity 111 South Alameda. Stand by for further for any Central unit.
You sure you can make it stick with one of these suspects, gentlemen?
It's either McCaffrey or Tiernan, sir. I think Jameson is an aberration.
All right. I'll deal with that degraded lunatic myself. He's got some fearful retribution coming. Tiernan isn't one, McCaffrey isn't two. I want a confession from one of them. Don't fail me, young Phelps.
E vamos primeiro ao Tiernan, que está aqui deste lado.
Why did you run, Tiernan?
I was the last one to see Evelyn that night. I knew you would think it was me.
Qual é a tua relação com a vítima?
Can you describe your relationship with Evelyn?
I barely knew Evelyn.
Então, porque é que ela saiu contigo na noite que foi assassinada.
And I'll have you charged and in front of a grand jury before your feet touch the ground.
How can you possibly prove Evelyn and I were more than friends?
Victim last scene foi dito pelo McCaffrey, não é? Pode ser mentira.
McCaffrey gave you up, Tiernan. He says he saw you go into your hotel with Evelyn.
I met Evelyn at the public library. We would read for a while and then go for a drink. Last night we went back to my hotel room and had some more to drink. I must have passed out. I woke up and she was gone.
What time was this?
Around midnight, maybe later.
And there's no one who can confirm this.
No, there isn't. I knew you wouldn't believe me.
Parece que foi encontrado um livro. Yeah.
The book that belonged to McCaffrey.
McCaffrey saw her looking at it once and laughed in her face.
And you're saying Evelyn stole it.
She wanted something of his.
E mais?
We either hang this on you or McCaffrey. You better give us something.
Well, McCaffrey's been in trouble with the law before. I mean, he always makes out it was some kind of labor dispute. But, you know, I'm not so sure.
Este aqui está nervoso, tá? Se tens algum alibi que te
You and
sabe?
Evelyn were drinking together last night, and she had no other place to stay.
I don't know what happened last night. I don't remember.
E nós sabemos que vocês tiveram a comprar licor.
You'd been fighting with her. You fought.
Exato.
I'm not lying. She got up and left. That was it.
O homem da loja disse que ela foi comprar álcool porque... para compensar, porque estava chateado com o rapaz. Exatamente. For a boy. After an argument. Exatamente.
She left, but she came back. She bought you a quart of whiskey to make it up to you. She told the liquor store owner. You're in deep trouble, buddy.
She said she loved me. She wanted to care for me. But she would never stop talking about McCaffrey. McCaffrey was a writer. McCaffrey was a hero. McCaffrey cared for the little guy.
Did you kill her, Tiernan?
I might as well have. I kicked her out. She had nowhere to go.
Damn. Mas isso significa que não tens alibi na mesma. Estavas sozinho.
Do you own a car, Tiernan?
No, I don't.
Have access to a lug wrench?
We use a lot of them to clear jams in the pin setting machines.
E mais?
Coroner's report says that Evelyn was killed with a wrench. I think you did it and then planted the evidence at McCaffrey's apartment for us to find.
We went to his apartment. McCaffrey was up on the roof. Evelyn stole the book. McCaffrey went crazy when he found out. He said he would put her out of her misery. He can be very cruel.
Parece que aqui o Tiernan acusou o McCaffrey. E ainda não vamos acusá-lo porque ainda temos de interrogar o outro suspeito.
Evelyn was missing a ring from her right hand.
That's strange. She always wore it. A big black circular disc with a white E in the middle. It was made from an old typewriter key, a present from the prop department at her old movie studio.
We're going to talk to McCaffrey. You need to think about what you've told us, Tiernan. You're not in the clear.
Vamos então agora à sala 2.
You ready to answer some questions?
You think I have all the answers?
People who run from the police usually have something to hide.
Touché, detective. Let's see where this takes us.
Onde é que tu andavas na noite do crime?
Evelyn died sometime around midnight. Remind me, where were you?
I was at home, writing. I'm working on a manuscript.
Não, e sabemos que é uma mentira porque nós temos já a segunda metade da carta. Que estava no apartamento dele.
You were out at the rail yard.
And what do you have that proves I was there?
Temos o. Onde é que está? Noire. Exatamente.
How about half of Augusta Summers' last correspondence with her daughter?
What are you talking about?
After you were done beating Evelyn, you searched her and found her mother's letter. That old lady's anguish amused you.
I know nothing about a letter or Evelyn's goddamn mother.
So what was it doing on your writing desk?
I don't know, but if I didn't put it there, somebody else did. Try exercising your powers of deduction on that.
Bem, se este rapaz não fosse assim tão sarcástico e assim bem com a mania, se calhar a gente até acreditava nele. Então, e a arma do crime que também lá estava.
We found the lug wrench that Evelyn was battered with in your apartment, and the note from her mother, and your blood-stained clothing. We have you cold, McCaffrey.
You think if I could be bothered to murder Evelyn Summers, I would be stupid enough to leave the evidence in my apartment?
E temos de dizer que é uma mentira e acusá-lo com a acusação do Tiernan.
I don't believe you, Grosvenor. The evidence says that you killed her.
You can prove that I wanted to kill Evelyn?
Sim, exatamente. Ele estava a dizer que já tem provas, mas não fazem sentido porque não há motivo. E nós temos acesso ao motivo porque o Tiernan disse que a queria matar por causa do livro.
Tiernan is prepared to testify that you threatened Evelyn's life in his presence.
Self-preservation. That's understandable. Okay, I'll level with you. Tiernan killed Evelyn. He came to me for help. I listened to him, and he explained why he did it.
Tiernan went to you for help. You expect me to buy that?
That's how it went down. I told him he made a terrible mistake, but he would be throwing his life away if he went to the cops. I took his things and told him I would dispose of them.
But you didn't.
Speak to Tiernan. He'll give it up.
É, mas tu vais preso na mesma. Por cúmplice. Bora.
Guy gave his wife a tap. I said all's fair in love and war.
E podemos usar o telefone para alguma coisa. Mas temos de voltar ali ao Tiernan.
Operator, message for KGPL.
Putting you through
Yeah, I'm
now.
thinking of moving up to a 45. I want to put him down to one round.
Phelps, badge 1247.
How could I help, Detective?
I need the jacket on a Grosvenor McCaffrey.
Just a moment, Detective. McCaffrey was formerly under surveillance by the Red Squad. Convictions for petty theft. Dishonorable discharge from the Army during training at Syracuse. Assault on a local woman. Says he almost beat the woman to death.
Thanks for your help.
Bem, e recebemos agora a informação sobre o backstory do McAfee, bastante interessante. Parece que ele tem um registro, um cadastro exatamente, em que já bateu numa mulher agressivamente.
You spoken to McCaffrey? I can go, it's all been cleared up?
Not quite. We have one more question we need to ask, James. Then I think we will be done.
Sure. Go ahead.
E o que é que fizeste? Perto da 1 da manhã, lá, depois da meia-noite.
So Evelyn passed out, and you walked out. What happened next?
I woke up in the morning, very hungover. I thought Evelyn would have come back.
E agora vamos acusá-lo.
I know you're lying, James. You went out looking for her. Tell me what really happened.
I don't know what you're talking about. How can you say I wasn't in that hotel room?
McCaffrey disse que foste aquilo.
You wound up at McCaffrey's. You were still incredibly drunk. You passed out on his floor. It's time to tell me what really happened.
McCaffrey woke me up the next morning, and he showed me the lug wrench and the letter and the box, and he He said I came in with him last night. He said that I killed Evelyn. And that it was all over the radio. And that he would protect me. And I don't know, Detective, for the life of me, I can't remember a goddamn thing. And I was angry with her. Really angry. I could have done it. Was it me?
Mas ainda temos mais uma pergunta para o McCaffrey. Agora não temos a certeza se este rapaz está a ser manipulado ou não. O McCaffrey é sem dúvida sinistro. Mas acho que esta do cadastro vai ser vital.
You were in the war?
Yes, I was. Seeing the things that I saw, it changes a man. I came back here determined to change things. All I wanted was a pen and an opportunity to speak out.
You told us before that you had only minor run-ins with the police. You didn't mention petty theft.
I've never been in trouble for violence. That's the salient point here, isn't it?
Duas mentiras no discurso dele. Primeiro, ele nem teve assim muito tempo no Army, foi demitido, pá. E também tem outro cadastro de agressão, de violência.
How do you turn a couple parking tickets and a petty theft misdemeanor into an assault charge?
We know it, bro. Why you keep lying?
We know all about you and your dishonorable discharge, beating some poor woman near to death in Syracuse. You've never been in combat, McCaffrey. Your whole life is a fraud.
She was a goddamn peasant whore. She tried to steal from my wallet. I could have fought for this country. I could have.
You beat her because she stole from you, because she tried to outsmart you.
The ignorant audacity of the bitch. What is a man supposed to do? Sit there and take it? How is a man supposed to call himself a man?
And Evelyn Summers, a poor, drunken nobody, stole your book.
And she got what was coming to her.
Agora não há nada a fazer sem ser acusar aqui o McCaffrey. Não temos provas diretas sobre um e outro. Já tivemos nesta posição. Parece que estamos aqui num déjà vu, mas a cena certa com o guião do jogo é incriminar aqui este senhor.
Grosvenor McCaffrey, I'm charging you with the murder of Evelyn Summers. She was a sad lady who never hurt anyone except herself. I hope God finds a way to forgive you.
Congratulations, boys. You bagged the fine catch. Another red to boot. Grand. Now, I want you to put this business about a repeat offender out of your mind. This McCaffrey creature shows no remorse, and neither will the grand jury. You would have to walk a long mile to find a better candidate for an unmarked plot in a prison graveyard.
Será? Bem, assustou-me aqui a conduta. Tinha muito vehicle e city damage, mas parece que conseguimos as 5 estrelas na mesma. Mais uma vez, mais um caso inconsistente, mas posso já dizer que o próximo será o último e será muito diferente deste aqui, ok? Espero que tenham gostado e vejo-vos na próxima. Até logo!
We have lost most of Shaughnessy and Dunn's squad. The gunny is dead, first platoon is in worse shape. That medic is either crazy or the bravest man alive.
Then we rally with the first and try for the Nambus.
It's sheer to the left. To the right, it goes right through a pass with 2 Nambus and Infilade.
Mate,
we can lose everyone.
Lieutenant!
Get back off this fucking bridge! They'll start walking the mortars back to their own positions! We only have minutes!
I'm in charge here, Sergeant!
Get your men off the bridge, Lieutenant!
What's your unit, Sergeant?
We don't have time for this, Lieutenant!
What's your unit, Sergeant?
I company 22nd Marines, Lieutenant, and we just saved your ass by fording the river.
My orders are to reconnoiter the...
I think that point is now moot! You have 10 men left! My orders are to save what's left! Move out!